The alarm screamed like a siren as flashing red lights lit up the server room at Novatech Systems. Every computer screen blinked, glitched, and suddenly went black. People froze. At the top floor, CEO Martin Blake grabbed the edge of his sleek glass desk, his hands trembling. His face turned pale as he shouted, "What do you mean the whole system is down?" The lead engineer swallowed hard. "Sir, we've lost everything. Client files, internal systems, even the backup servers are corrupted." Silence fell like a heavy blanket. Everyone in the room looked at each other, terrified. Millions of dollars in private data had just vanished. Then, out of nowhere, a small voice cut through the panic. "I can fix it." Martin spun around fast. A young girl stood at the back of the room holding a tablet in her hands. She looked about 13. Her fingers were already tapping the screen with confidence. Everyone stared. Who was this kid? Why did she look so sure of herself? And how did she even get in here? No one knew it yet, but this girl was about to change everything. Earlier that day, Jasmine Carter was sitting in the lobby of Novatech Systems, bored out of her mind. Her mom, Mrs. Carter, worked the night shift as a janitor, and since school was closed, she had no choice but to bring Jasmine along. They couldn't afford a babysitter, so Jasmine was told to sit quietly and stay out of the way. But Jasmine wasn't the kind of kid who just sat still. She pulled out her tablet, connected to the company's guest Wi-Fi, and started poking around out of curiosity. It didn't take long for her to find big problems. Weak firewalls, messy code, and security holes everywhere. She wanted to say something, but who would listen? She was just a kid. So she stayed silent and kept watching. But hours later, when the system crashed exactly where she saw the flaws, she knew it wasn't a coincidence, and she knew she might be the only one who could stop it. Jasmine stood there quietly as the room spun into chaos. Engineers yelled, phones rang, people were scrambling everywhere. She saw the exact security hole she'd found earlier now being used by real hackers. The company was falling apart, and fast. She looked down at her tablet. She had the answer. She knew how to stop it. But if she spoke up, her mom, Mrs. Carter, might lose her job. No one had ever asked a janitor's kid for help. But staying quiet would mean letting Novatech crash completely. Jasmine took a deep breath, stepped forward, and said loudly, "I can fix it." The whole room turned toward her. Someone laughed under their breath. "The CFO?" he said, rolling his eyes. Martin Blake, the CEO, stared at her. For a second, he looked unsure. Then, with no other option left, he pointed toward the terminal and said, "Do it." Jasmine rushed to the main computer like she belonged there. She didn't wait or ask questions. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, moving fast and confident. Lines of code appeared on the screen so quickly that the engineers just stood there, staring in shock. No one could keep up with what she was doing. Whispers filled the room. Who is she? Is she really doing this? She looks like a hacker. Then, the system administrator stepped in. He frowned and slammed his hand on the desk. "This is a serious security breach. She's not authorized to be here." Jasmine didn't stop. She didn't even look up. "Your security sucks," she said calmly. "I found the back door an hour ago." Everyone went silent. She kept typing. "The real hackers are still inside your system. If you block me now, they'll steal everything." CEO Martin Blake felt his stomach twist. Her words hit hard, and deep down, he knew she was telling the truth. They were running out of time, and she might be the only one smart enough to save them. Everyone in the room held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The lead engineer stepped forward, shaking his head. "We can't trust her," he said sharply. "She's just a kid. This could be a trick." Everyone in the room hesitated. No one wanted to take that kind of risk. Time was running out, and the system was slipping further into the hackers' control. Suddenly, the door burst open. Mrs. Carter rushed in, her eyes wide. "Jasmine, what are you doing?" she cried. Jasmine's fingers slowed, and for the first time, her voice cracked. "I was trying to help." Her mom looked at the CEO, then at the flashing red screens, then back at her daughter. She didn't say anything, but her eyes were filled with fear. Martin Blake looked around the room. No one else had a real solution. The engineers were stuck. The hackers were still inside. And Jasmine had already gotten further than anyone else. He took a breath and gave the final word. "Let her work." Jasmine nodded once, wiped her hands on her jeans, and turned back to the screen. Everything was now riding on her. Jasmine took a deep breath and got back to work. Her fingers moved so fast they were almost a blur. Everyone in the room leaned in, watching lines of code fly across the screen like a movie. No one spoke. No one blinked. She was launching a counterattack. Every second mattered. The system was falling apart, and this 13-year-old girl was their last chance. Then, suddenly, the screen stopped flickering. One by one, the monitors turned green. A message popped up across every computer in the room. Access restored. For a second, there was silence. Then, the entire room exploded with cheers. People clapped, some even cried. The nightmare was over, and it was all because of her. Martin Blake dropped to one knee to meet Jasmine's eyes. "Who are you?" he asked, still in disbelief. Jasmine gave a small smile and shrugged. "Just a girl who likes computers." In that moment, everyone knew this wasn't just any kid. She had just saved a billion-dollar company and earned everyone's respect. 2 weeks later, Novatech made a big announcement. Jasmine Carter, the 13-year-old girl who saved their entire system, was now their youngest ever cybersecurity consultant. People across the company couldn't believe it, but they all agreed she earned it. Along with the title, Novatech gave Jasmine a full scholarship to any tech school she wanted in the future. The same people who once laughed or doubted her now greeted her with smiles and respect. As for the engineers, they never rolled their eyes at a kid again. Jasmine had shown that brilliance can come from anywhere, even from a quiet girl waiting in the lobby. Martin Blake, the CEO, often said later that trusting Jasmine was the best decision he ever made. So now, when someone asks, "Who would you trust more in a crisis, the CEO or the kid?" just remember what happened at Novatech. And if Jasmine's your new hero, let us know in the comments. Jasmine for the win!